time to start. I need water. There. Last time I was working on these panels, and I went ahead and created the front panels as well, but I also actually went ahead and redid all of these because I wanted to make this crease a little bit narrower because it was just too wide and it looked too chunky, I guess. I don't know. Just the separations between the panels were just too big. But I haven't extruded them out yet, which I can do. But I want to actually take both of those. I want to duplicate because I don't want to be without a copy in case I screw something up, which will most likely happen anyway. So I'm gonna actually make this one object so I can just do it all at once and have it all exactly the same height. And I'm going to use this side as the... No, I'm going to kind of just zoom in here. So don't want too much thickness on here. Trying to imagine scale-wise what or how thick that would actually be. I think that's I think that's a decent thickness there. We'll start with that. And see, do I have a mirror on this? I do. Let's duplicate it to the bottom, and later on I can clean up or remove the parts that are underneath the landing gear and whatnot, because that's just extra geometry we don't need. On the top, I think I did that already. Yeah, for the most part I did that already, so if we figure yeah, we'll just leave that. I mean, that's not horrible. It's kind of cutting into about right back here. I think that actually looks fairly decent. And I did notice earlier that since I need to put some panels on this part here, I want this edge to touch or to come out to here. It doesn't have to, but kind of, to me, would make sense. So I'm going to elongate this a little bit and bring this window out so I can see where it's touching. Oops. Let's see. So I just don't like... Actually, that doesn't look too bad. I don't know. For some reason I want it to be a symmetrical square. Or octagon. I think that should work. Kind of closes that gap. And that doesn't look bad at all. And that's really bugging me. I don't know why. I'm going to do the panels on top here. Actually, I'm going to take a look at this reference. 3 panels. 1, 2, 3. Actually, just kind of one long one on the top with a bunch of stuff on it. I think I want to use my yeah, I want to use this piece here, so I'm going to duplicate this and move it up to the second layer. And I'm going to have to match that shape. At least out to the edge. And I can just mirror that down, so I'm going to get rid of all of that. And that's all I need for these panels. I'm going to separate actually, I think I'm on the center line, so I can get rid of this one too, I believe. Let's oh, we're actually already mirrored. Let's just do a Z mirror on that. I don't need the X on that. Whoops, don't need the Y either. I need the Z. There we go. So now this, need my panels back for reference for the depth anyway. I'm gonna have to cut, oops, do that again. Am I wondering why that was moving so little? Scaling around the center point. Let's see, since we're gonna have a gap here, I kind of want this to be half of what that gap's gonna be. So let's do, actually I'm gonna undo this, redo it, and I'm gonna scale that along the Y, but I'm gonna hold the, and the control's not really snapping to anything. Let's increment that. See if the increments will work. It's not small enough. I want it, let's see, 2.9. I want to have it about half of that. I'm just going to eyeball it. Let's just turn off the snapping here and do that, because I'm going to cut these out. Whoops. Kind of makes it hard when I have the edges selectable at the same time. Let's delete those face. And this one I just need one cut, so I'm gonna get down in here and see if I can see it from here. Not really. And just slide this up a little bit. I'm just trying to match the gap that's in here. Just take that. Now I want to kind of see. That might be too much. Which isn't a big deal. I can just scale the top one a bit. Let me extrude this out. I'm just going to extrude this out for the time being, but I'm going to undo it because I need to cut the panels first. I just want to see what it looks like. Did it put the edges back on there? Oh wait, come on. Oh, that's irritating. Let's just kind of undo all of this. There we go. I might be being a little picky, but I can, so. Oops. Oh, that's just irritating. There we go. And let's cut this again. I know I'm kind of being a pain, but and that really is not helping me. Make sure that's not up too far. Because actually I'm gonna have to cut let's do this. So I want this to match. Do that, and let's just do this and do the same with the top here. Get these shaped, and then I'm gonna do the panels around the gun turret. See, in this way, if the panels aren't separated enough, I can just pull this out. I'm gonna actually really narrow that up, since that curve's gonna open up that or make that space seem a little wider than the other ones. I want to kind of keep that same look as the rest of the panels. So that should be good. I want to have a good narrow gap in there. So this I want to cut kind of like the way these are done, just straight down like that. So let's again, being really picky. Oops. Yeah. Oh, come on now. Kind of want to match these up. Ooh, that's really wide. Oh, that's because I have a big gap there. So this should actually, that makes it fairly easy. Could actually make these a bit smaller, but I don't think they're too big, unless I just don't have the slope of this thing. Then again, I can't really necessarily go off of this, but that does look much better meeting up at a point like that. Let's see. Because I can't really squish that down anymore, it'll just be too elongated. Don't really want to bring these up any further. I'm gonna leave it the way it is. I really don't know. Actually, I might be able to fix that, but I'm not gonna cut these panels out just yet. I got them marked, that's all I needed. I might be able to remedy that little slope there. Not necessary, but I want to get started on this top bit. I'm just going to copy the copy that out so I have circle to work with, and then I'm going to actually apply this mirror because I don't that's just going to be hard to maybe not actually. Let me fill that in first and we'll see. I'm going to bring that up a bit. And did I forget the... I did. Forgot that. Let's copy that. Let's copy that. And I don't like all those. So let's see if I can make a decent face out of that, and I'm going to move this up. And that didn't come out too well, but oh, there we go. I want to take at least most of these. Come down to here. Actually, I didn't even need to undo all that. Just cut. And we'll just merge these. Kind of makes that circle a little bit off, but it's not necessary because you're not going to really see it under the frame of the... Just wanted a good straight line there because it was getting a little warped on the surface. Having just this one big face. So what kind of panels should we make? Got the clipping on, so that's good. So I can do a cut. I'm going to do a straight cut across here. That might actually it's a little higher than we can fix that. Again, I'm being really picky. That's gonna go too far. Let's do that. And I can just merge those together. So we have one cut there. And I'm gonna make a panel down here. That's coming off for some reason that just looks off. Yeah, that looks good there. Trying to get all the straight ones. There's another circle here. So this is going to be messy. Yeah, that doesn't even look good. So I'm going to copy just the outer circle. Needed to change my cursor. Oh, it actually is down farther, so that's kind of a weird. So let me just go ahead and delete those. It's kind of an oblong, but let's just do that again and I'm going to actually separate this so I have a separate circle. Kind of a weird. I'm just going to use my eyeballs. Oops. Just trying to think where the Oops, I'm just going to apply this mirror because I'm getting weird. There we go, and I was just sharpening up at the top for some reason, and sure I have enough room for, that's actually about split in half. I want it to look decent. Let's just leave that alone for the moment. I got those panels cut, and I actually need to do 1 and 2 more. And I'm just assuming it's using the center for the center of the gun turret for its focal point. So I've got it's just kind of give it a go. And one up here. Should make that a little bit wider. Now that's gonna be a odd cut because I need to just basically eyeball the width of that, so because there's no real way to line that up other than just guessing. We need, just gonna do a plane, it's easier to work with. And I think this is kind of like the one on the Falcon anyway. So it actually kind of cuts that off a little bit. And this will kind of actually determine where my panel lines go. So I don't think I'll be able to connect the vertices on those, on the edge of the circle, because it's just going to line up goofy. I'll just have to cut them the way I want to. Sure, let's see what we got here. And that's not what I want. Actually, let me undo that. Let's widen this up a bit. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why that's not jiving. Do I just have the top too big or something? That's what the only problem is, working with two references. I think this is just actually smaller than the one I got. So I will go with what I've got and just make it look how I want to make it look. Try to maintain the shape and proportions, but so I'm going to move this, I'm going to move this, and I'm going to move this. Because I need to make some cuts that... So let's get rid of this. I'll actually get rid of this one too. I'm just going to place cuts where I want to. Let's make it a little bit wider. And I can clean any of these extra little bits up later. That's a good size panel, I like that. And we have this one, which I'm just going to take from here. And then one more. Kind of I might actually have to make a couple extra. I know what I'll do. I'll just leave these two panels alone, but actually put a couple of rows of panels. So I want it to look, I don't know, not dumb. So, let's kind of circleify that. Kind of like that being down there like that. So we'll have a panel. Excuse me. I could actually run a panel up. So we'll have a panel here, panel out. I'm going to turn on the wire so I can see all my edges. So we'll have this this one's fine. This is going to be one big one. This is going to be one big one here. That's okay. Little panel. That looks a little awkward. Might actually cut something straight across here, because back on the back side we'll have, actually that looks like there is a, actually make that a little bit bigger. No, let's run it up into here and let's duplicate that again. I'm making these separate objects just so I can work with them independently, and then so this here would be one panel. I can always figure something out, but I'm gonna get rid of no, let me just leave that for the moment. It's starting to confuse my eyes. Thanks, K-Man, thank you. Starting to go cross-eyed looking at the thing. Start getting down to the detail and I get eye burnout, basically. Now I'm just stalling. So I don't know what I'm doing. Ay, ay, ay. Let's get that other little piece on there. So let me make this panel. And I'm going to scale that in just a little bit. Yeah, I don't make, I've never made a actual vehicle model. Only like hard surface. things like this. It's one of those things on my list to actually try to do one of these days. I'm afraid it would look awfully awful if I even attempted it right now. It would be a challenge, I tell you that. Let's see. Where's my... Needs me pictures. No, that's cool. You make vehicles. That's a skill, man. I think I'm just afraid to try, which is sad, but so make this gun housing here. Let's bring that out. Bring that up. Actually, kind of want to make this a little bit narrower. Might have to change that a little bit once I figure out what the gun's gonna be doing. Which actually, do I have... Uh-oh. I was wondering why that was sticking up above the thing a little bit. I kind of scaled it goofy. Yeah, I know I shouldn't be afraid of it. One of these days, man. One of these days I'll get to it. That and I want to do airplane mod, like the older ones, the biplanes and World War II planes. Those would be fun to do. Well, let's go ahead and put this gun. And I just started my gaming center because I hit the number pad. Well, I thought I was going to interrupt the stream, but it didn't. I'll just leave it running. And I can't really tell what this mechanism is, but what I'm gonna do is plop a cylinder down. It's just kind of a placeholder. So I know there's a crossbar here. And when it comes to the mechanics of stuff, I am not an engineer, so... Scale that down. Again, I'm just kind of putting something here for the sake of scale, maybe, and just seeing how it's going to work. And I'm going to put the, whoops, gun, at least a bit of it. Well, actually, I already have the cylinders I can use for the cannons. So let's squish that a little bit, and I'll round out the back part of that. I'm going to move it out so it has room to turn. And let's see where we're at with the rest of it here. I'm going to pull this out a little bit. Let's give her some cannons. Yeah, that's a good idea. I should like start with a pickup or a Humvee or something. But that doesn't have any. That's pretty straight edged. Yeah, pickup would maybe like a F-150 or something, or even the older 70s models. They still had some curbs on them. Not much, but enough to kind of get some practice. At least I would think. Ooh, those guns look too long. Well, if I have the big... Let's do that. Let's make the big part of the cannons. And I'm just going to copy one of these. Yeah, something like that should look okay, at least for the block out. That really is off, isn't it? Let's pull those in. Yeah, once I get to detailing it, I can, because that just looks really weird. Oh, if I could just leave it like that, but I am not going to. No idea what that is. I think I'll have to spend a little bit of time doing some cleanup, but I think at least the size of that turret's going to be okay. So I got the guns detailed, they'll look pretty good. And that piece, and then we have just the panels, and And that is a... So that's what I'm going to get rid of this. This is really, for some reason, I don't know why this is bothering me. And of course I would have beveled that. Let's get rid of this. And I'm just going to fill that in. There, now it's not bugging me. I think I did that on the bottom. Oh, that's a mirrored piece, so perfect. So I think I was going to put... I was actually going to put a bit of a pit here for some pipes to go in, but I'll worry about that when I actually split it off from this top piece here. And I have these marked now. So for the sake of just getting this done, I'm gonna... This is gonna be a little tricky. I want to eyeball this. That actually looks pretty straight, and I don't know if I can actually slide that evenly, but let's give it a shot. Oh, hell yeah. I'll leave it alone for the moment, but at least I can get that. I gotta get in really close here because my eyes are getting tired. Start down here so I can see where my knife's at. Try to make that as even as possible. Looks okay. This one will be easy. Just cut that straight across. And this isn't as long, so... cool. That wasn't as painful as I thought it'd be. Now this, I'm just gonna extrude and scale it out. I forgot that was underneath. It's, I'm zooming all the way in so I can get this on the same plane as the other ones. Because when I not duplicate, but join these two objects together, so I can have single panels there. And let's just move this up while we're at it. So I'm going to do that other panel cut for that, or at least shaping them up. And we can get all those exactly on the same level later, but let's extrude this out and whoops. So we'll have panel, panel, panel. Might kind of just leave this big panel here possibly, because I'll get rid of all of that once I figure out where I'm joining it. And you're joining the object, so I can actually, yeah, let me get rid of, let's do, just Select everything. Get rid of those because actually that might look kind of cool. Let me save that just in case. I can get rid of all those. And I can get rid of all of those. I can get rid of give me a little extra to work with. And I'm selecting the wrong ones, so oh, I'm being a pain, I'm being a pain. So get rid of, I want to keep these, I want to keep this. I just didn't keep enough from the top. There we go. Oh, I get those joined together, that should look good. And I will have to actually make those a little narrower. So, what do we got? What do we got? Let's see. Bring everything back. So I've got those cut. Now I got to figure out what. So this has panels on it, and that looks pretty lame, but I guess I could do here. Yeah, I could just do easy, maybe even put a split there at the back. That'd look decent. I don't think I'd need. Actually, I could put one thin, or at least this would be solid, and then do a cut across. You duplicate that and move it. Yep. I got to get rid of all this extra I don't need. I don't need any of this top stuff. Where are these innards? Okay, let's get rid of those. And figure out how to cut this. Oh, this is going to be one of those. I'm going to have to just do it manually. I don't know if that's even going to fly. Let me just do it, and we're gonna well, actually, yeah, that might be. What I could do. That'd look a little weird having. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Kind of want to have that split in the center, but could have it a little offset. It's not going to hurt anything. Split that in the center first, and then since I'm a little closer to that side, I'll put a marker there, and this one I'm going to actually do about right there. And I do want one back here. That would be alright. So panel, panel, panel. It looks good. I don't think that because even just having so I'd have to have a cut here. I kind of like that idea though. Adds a little bit more detail. I can just do that here. And here. So we'll do panels there. Oh, okay, so I can actually do that on the bottom too. I have to do that. To do it manually. Actually, no, I'm gonna leave. Trying to think what that's gonna look like for. If I did that, I'm going to have panels up top. Let's do that. This might be too much, but let's do a panel here. I'm gonna have to do something with that. Oh, and here I thought it was gonna be fairly straightforward. I don't like the idea of a huge long panel like that, but it kind of makes sense for Windows. But this would be okay. This might be a little difficult to pull off, at least to make it straight. But we'll give it a shot, and that's going to be too wide because I'm cutting at a perspective's a little off, but I can always fix that up a little bit. Do one there, so we have one long panel across the top, and might as well consistency, you know. Oh, wrong way, wrong way. And before next week, oop, I'm not animating, nope. Before next week, I'm going to have at least these shaped, I mean not shaped, but all the separations here the way I want, so we're not wasting too much of your time watching me fiddle with these little panels and such. And some of these are going to be a little offset and a little different, but I wonder if we should go for super consistence or super symmetry on these, or because it wouldn't be hard, it's just I'll worry about that when I tinker with it. I kind of like the idea of it being on the outer right before the right before it curves down like that, and like right here. So I might actually change that to where it curves, or where it meets the straight edge. I might change some of these because it looks a little crooked having this inset so far like that. Cool, 8:30. I'm gonna go ahead and actually stop for the time being. Whoops, kind of get some of this stuff set. Well, that's why that was off. I'll just bring that down. Kind of give it a quick look. I do have these panels on the escape pod areas to do. I think before next week I'm going to have these panels cut out. These cut out as well along the escape pod areas, and the top as well. And then from there, I don't know yet. I might work on the gun. The landing gear is going to be a whole, so I can actually kind of mirror all, or not mirror, but copy them all across, because they're going to look the same. Ooh, and I do need a landing ramp, or a little entryway cut into this side, but we'll get the panels detailed first. And then I can separate this piece off so I can cut into it. So I think it's looking decent, can go ahead and leave it there, and I'll be back next Monday. And again, I know I always say this, but you know, maybe Wednesday and Friday, maybe Tuesday, maybe Thursday, who knows. But definitely Monday. So I appreciate you watching, and I'm gonna go rest my eyes. So hey, take care, have a great week. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and click the little bell icon to be notified when I post new 3D modeling, gaming, or educational content. Until next time.